Hi, this is Denise Matthew, and welcome to episode 26 of the Mandala of Life, 365 Days to Self-Discovery. Today we're moving away from tribal energy into individual energy, away from entitled leadership that benefits the tribe and talks to the support of the tribe, into the only individual throat gate that talks to purely socialization and getting the mutation into the collective. There is music, poetry, and creativity within this energy, and also an ability to socialize and articulate exactly what you want to say, but only if you're in the mood. Last week we talked about tribal energy and how the Gate 45 is the only voice of the tribe, and it speaks to how they get their support and the material goods from the Maya. Now we're getting into the Gate 12, another throat gate that talks about the socialization of the individual, where the mutation is expressed out into the world, with the hope that it will be accepted by the collective. But before we get into new content, let's go over what we talked about in our last episode. In our last episode, we talked about the Gate 45 and how it's the voice of the tribe, in fact, the only voice of the tribe. The full channel, the 4521, comes from the Will Center, talks to the idea that it's all about material goods and how the tribe can be supported and improved in the future. The Gate 45 can be about education. It's also about beneficial leadership, where everyone wins, where the people support the leadership and the leadership supports the people. This is the energy that talks to the people and delegates what needs to be done. And because of that, many people consider this a regal energy and an entitled leadership that people are very willing to give as long as they're getting benefits in return. This is business energy and the energy that builds civilizations and is responsible for many of the material things that we have in the world, the infrastructure, the food chains, and all of the things that support humanity in the most mundane of ways, but also one of the most important ways, because humanity must have resources, supplies, and all the things they need in order to survive. And if you want to find out more about this gate, please check out episode 25 of the Mandala of Life. And don't forget to check out the other episodes of the Mandala of Life. The Gate 12 is half of the channel of openness. While most channels of individuality are not social, this is the exception to the rule. This energy is all about socializing, but it's socializing to get your own individual mutation into the collective. And because it's half of the 1222 manifesting channel that goes directly from the solar plexus to the throat, it means that there is passion within this energy and also an ability to manifest. It's the 8th gate of the quarter of civilization and contains within it the power for cultural mutation. The 1222 is similar to the 4521 in that it is one of the 4 manifesting channels, which means it brings a motor directly to the throat and has a lot to do with manifesting things in the world. But they're vastly different in that the 4521 is truly about resources, material goods, and mundane expression in the world, whereas the 1222 is a purely individual energy. There can be a deep connection to music, and there can be this ability to articulate or not. With the 1222, there is a lot of passion that goes directly to the throat, so whatever emotions that someone feels are expressed very easily. Well, the 1222 is about socialization and being who you are and really being in the mood for when you want to socialize. The 12 on its own can be a little bit more cautious and not really want to socialize or be out in the world as much as when you have the full channel. Although when you have a hanging gate of any kind, electromagnetics are very common, which means that you can have access to the full channel many times just by meeting or planetary transits or something like that. We're going to focus on the Gate 12 and how it expresses itself. As with all individual energy, the Gate 12 has some level of melancholy within it. And it's slightly different from the melancholy of the Gate 22, its partner. The Gate 22 has a melancholy about not being able to listen to anything worthwhile. With the Gate 12, the melancholy is about not having people worthwhile to tell what you have to tell them. In other words, your mutation or the unique things that you want to tell the world, the way you want to share your individuality. And how you share your individuality with the collective is through your voice. And if you don't feel like you have anybody that's worth telling what you need to tell them, then this is when you may feel the blues. The whole point of individual energy is to somehow introduce a mutation or some kind of unique thing into the collective, to have it shift some way because of something that you said. It's all about impact and changing the pattern so that something new and innovative is brought into the collective, something that's never been seen before. So when you don't feel like there's anybody who's actually going to listen to what you have to say or in any way have any impact on anything changing in the world, that's when that can be problematic, or you can have this melancholy feeling. The key with this energy is to know that when you're in the right mood, and also when you have the clarity for explaining exactly what you want to explain, there's a pretty good chance that you'll find the right audience, the people that will actually listen, and potentially you'll have the impact that you want so that the collective will somehow adopt what you have to say in some way, and the world will be shifted. Understanding that mutation is all about right timing, and especially with this energy, being in the mood. And when you understand that that's part of how the mutation gets out into the world, and also to see that when you do have melancholy, it's all about being creative and expressing yourself in a creative way. And it may not mean that you're in the mood to share yourself or share the mutation that you want to get out into the world, but it does mean that it's a time for you to externalize in some way your creative flow. And as time goes on, the melancholy will pass and it will be replaced with a different type of mood. And when the mood is correct and the timing is right, the right people will be available to hear. And that's when the potential for your mutation to be adopted by the collective has its greatest chance. Another part of this energy is that it is one of the alone gates, which means that built within it is this feeling that you want to be alone or even isolated. This is a normal part of the energy because without the clarity and the ability to actually express yourself exactly the way you want to, then there's less of a chance of being able to be social in a way that people will understand and kind of be interested in what you have to say. So that's why honoring your mood and exactly where you are is really important. If you're forcing yourself to socialize and you're not acknowledging or honoring how you feel, a lot of times you can go out and not be in the best of cheer, and because of that, you're not giving your best self and you're not actually able to describe or explain exactly what you want to say. There could be this sense of being shy, or you want to be quiet, or you just don't want to socialize. And if you're in a social environment and that happens, then generally it's not going to work well. And neither you nor the people that you're socializing with will actually have any fun, because it truly is about you being in the mood. And when you're in the mood, that's when everything changes. It's like you can light up a room and you can be extremely articulate and explain exactly what you want to say, and you can be the life of the party, but it's only when you're in the mood. So you could really say that this energy is off or it's on, and there isn't really a place in between. It's also called standstill, and the standstill talks to the idea that there's need and preparation for you to get everything in line, sort of to get your ducks in a row so that you can actually say exactly what you want to say. There's music within this energy too, as well as this ability to be very creative in how you express yourself verbally or vocally. There's poetry, as I said, and a passion for life and a passion for many things that make your heart sing. The caution within this energy has a purpose, as I said, and it is about this idea of being articulate and having everything lined up so that when you are out in the social environment, you're actually giving your best and you're able to socialize in a way that you're feeling good and everybody else is enjoying your company as well. But if we circle back to this idea that it's an alone gate, we look at the idea that sometimes the aloneness can be too much of a good thing. And for some reason, you just want to stay away from everything because maybe you had forced yourself to actually go out into the world and you weren't quite ready to socialize. And yet you felt like you needed to go out and it didn't work out like you wanted to. For those reasons, sometimes there may be some reticence to actually go back out into the social world and to be social again, because the experiences of the past may have jaded you in how you want to express yourself and the fact that maybe you just want to be alone. And once again, this can go back to the melancholy of not being able to express yourself and not being able to actually fulfill your purpose and the purpose of all individual energy. It's all about wanting to get the mutation out into the world, to express yourself in your own unique way, to be empowered by yourself and how you express yourself, especially with this energy. And when you're feeling empowered, then you have this natural ability to empower those around you. Here it's with your voice, which is very powerful because we know that the voice or the throat center is a manifestation center. And because of that, it means that you can manifest creatively using your voice. And that is the whole point of this energy, to creatively infuse your social energy into the collective, to change the way people are interacting. That's how much power this energy can have. The gate 12 alone can be magical, but then when we sort of move into a few of the special lines, we can see that the gate 12 line 4 is all about being a prophet, meaning you're bringing powerful change into the collective at just the right time. And according to Ra Uruhu, the gate 12 line 6 is directly connected to the 2027 mutation because it connects with the gate 55 line 6, which is all about a mutation that will bring spirit consciousness into the world and change how we socialize as a collective. There is a connection to the love of humanity, the gate 15. So it is a powerful energy that is meant to change the world and how we interact. Another interesting theory about this energy in the gate 12, especially when it's hanging, is this ability to be able to channel spirit when you're speaking, which makes a lot of sense because this is individuality that comes from the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is a place where spirit consciousness resides, and a place where the solar plexus mutation may bring the potential for spirit consciousness to grow within the collective. In the real world, there are certain celebrities or people who are well known who have the hanging gate 12, who have embodied this idea of bringing their own mutation into the collective and being themselves and changing the world around them or the people around them in some way because of what they bring or what they've said to the world. One is Esther Hicks, who is said to channel a spirit or an entity called Abraham, who she's written many books about and who many people in the world follow the teachings of. Dan Millman, an inspirational writer and speaker who wrote a book about his own spiritual awakening after he suffered a fractured femur when he was a gymnast. And even Ra Uruhu himself had the hanging gate 12, and he channeled the voice, and that's where we have human design from. And lastly, John Lennon, who used his voice to try and change the world through his music and also through the songs and the lyrics that he wrote. He had the gate 12 in line 6 in Venus, which is all about expressing the love of humanity and also bringing a mutation into the world through your own individual creative self. Individual energy is important to the collective. It's important to the world because it's how we get the mutations and new and innovative ways of looking at things. It's how we evolve. And the gate 12 plays a big part in how the expression of individuality gets out into the collective. It's social energy. It's about using your voice to change the world. There's much beauty within this energy. And when you're in the mood, there's an ability to shift the reality of those who listen to what you have to say. It's the voice that says that there's a place in the world for everyone, because we're all unique and we're here to be exactly who we are, to express our true authenticity. And when we've learned to be ourselves and to express who we are to the world, the mandala of life turns again. And we move back into logical collective energy, which is all about the patterns of life. Here it's about the love of humanity and being in the flow. There can be extremes within this energy, but also an ability to follow the patterns and to be in harmony with the collective. Well, that's all for now, and please join me for the next episode, episode 27, the gate 15, the gate of modesty, and also the gate of extremes. Until then, take care, and I'll see you again soon.